All right, welcome back to the deep dive. As historians, looking back from, well, our rather distant future, we're digging into these fascinating echoes of the past. Today, it's these so-called ancient transmissions, real relics from Earth, from the civilization they called humanity. And our task really is to try and understand how they managed to bring about their own end.
Yeah, it's quite a story pieced together from these fragments. And what we've got first seems to be a set of very clear warnings, almost like a blueprint they wrote for themselves, charting out the physical decay of their planet. It's quite striking, actually.
It really is. When you get into these warning documents, the level of detail is, well, it's unnerving. They weren't just talking vaguely. Their own scientists, their own records were spelling it out. Things like rising sea levels. They knew coastal cities, whole islands were at risk. They even coined a term, climate refugees.
Exactly. Millions of them predicted. And it wasn't just the seas. They also foresaw more extreme weather. Increasingly violent storms, droughts that went on and on, flash floods, devastating their farming, their infrastructure.
And the impact on the natural world, mass extinctions.
Right. They understood that losing species would destabilize the whole ecosystem, threaten their own food sources. It's all there, a clear map of the physical consequences.
So, okay, the tangible signs, the physical warnings, they were laid out pretty clearly, it seems, which just begs the question, why didn't they, change course? Were there chances, moments to act?
That's perhaps the most tragic part we found, especially in texts like this one, the tragedy of missed reversal. And the answer seems to be yes, plenty of opportunities. The warnings weren't just clear, they came early, it was gradual, sure, but the signs were there for anyone paying attention. There were admonishing voices, as one text puts it.
But they didn't listen. Was the evidence not strong enough? I find that hard to square with the detail you mentioned.
Well, quite the opposite, it seems. The evidence suggests it wasn't a lack of proof, it was more a refusal to believe, because believing it meant they'd have to admit great errors, as they put it. It meant fundamentally questioning their whole system, their way of life.
So denial.
Pretty much. You had powerful figures, politicians described as too comfortable, the influential being too greedy, and the wider population often too distracted by trivialities. They actually ridiculed the people raising alarms, calling them madmen or alarmists.
Wow, so it's this collective inertia, resistance.
That's exactly what some sources point to, this idea of the denial of the collective, kind of persistent belief in rugged individualism, even while their whole society relied on collective systems. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why ignore the lessons about cooperation, about shared fate, that even their own history must have taught them?
And that leads us to, well, the end game. A third set of records paints a really grim picture. By what they called the end of the 22nd century, Earth was just a shadow of its former self.
Yeah, 500 years of exploitation had apparently done irreversible damage by that point. Seas, the atmosphere, saturated with poisons. Wild animals, mostly gone, except for species useful to humans, kept in these sealed reserves.
And here's the real twist, isn't it? The irony.
Oh, absolutely. They'd actually developed the technology by then. They could have reversed a lot of the damage.
Oh, they didn't. Why not?
Deep, deep world division. A total failure to find common ground, to achieve any kind of lasting peace. They just couldn't implement the solutions collectively.
So instead, conflict. First over wealth, then basics like food.
And finally, just trying to escape the heat, the rising waters. It became about survival in the most brutal sense. You see these stark accounts, billionaires building self-sufficient water cities while the land masses burned or flooded.
And the geopolitical map just shattered.
Completely. The Eurasian alliance apparently did okay because of its northern location, but India, China, Central Africa, the Americas largely collapsed. The U.S. broke into these isolated megacities. Canada took Alaska, Australia, South Africa. They became fortified islands, basically.
They had the knowledge. Later, they even had the tech.
But the capacity, the collective will to actually use it, it seems like. They never really had that.
So, looking back from our time, what's the ultimate lesson here for us, for any civilization wanting to stick around?
I think it comes back to that denial of the collective. It wasn't just about cutting pollution or managing resources, though that was critical. It seems the deeper failure was forgetting how interconnected they were with each other and fundamentally with their planet. So maybe the question for us, and for anyone, is what does it truly mean to accept that we are, in fact, a collective of individuals? What does that acceptance demand?